I am Mayuri, head interior designer at Spaces of HUE. And at Spaces of HUE, we design homes, we do turnkey projects, we do projects that involve a makeover, and we do also budget makeovers. But today I'm here with you on the Style With Me series to help you style your spaces, make your spaces look good with some quick hacks, tips and tricks. So today I'm back with another styling video for you all. I'm going to walk you through a few tips and tricks and hacks to basically make your shelves look super awesome. And I'm going to walk you through a process instead of talking to you about just a few tips, because that's what's going to change your shelf from anybody else's who doesn't know about this process, right? So let's get started. Firstly, look at the shelf and look at the height between the shelves that you have, and then start sort of recollecting, or maybe if you have a shelf where you know, a bookcase or a place where you have your accessories organized, pick them out one by one, take them, collect them on a table and have a look at them in terms of heights. So how I start is, for example, all the sculptures, whether small or big, I'll club them together. All the greenery that I have, I'll club them together. All styling books I have, I'll club them together, and so on and so forth. So every group of decor that you have will have to be classified and kept on a table. So the next step is to basically start grouping them, all these objects together in a separate category, and then picking them up and layering them. So for example, from the books section, you pick up a couple of books that are, interesting colors, interesting patterns. They look interesting in general on that particular shelf. Try and match the color scheme. Pick up a color palette. So for example, if you're doing a lot of neutrals on that shelf, then pick up neutrals and layer them in a way where they generate that interest and they're texturally very different. So for example, if you have a couple of books that are, say, black and white, you add another object on top of it which is either gold or any metallic tone. It's very important to note that even metallics, right, metal objects are considered as neutrals. For example, you layer your books on top of each other, with the bigger one at the bottom, and then of course moving to the smaller ones. Here I have cement planters which I've used with some pop of color, which is good because it adds a bit more color to the neutral palette. And then I have gold rimmed tea light that has been used over here. Gold essentially is a neutral. Silver, gold, you have any kind of metallic, coppers, they're all considered as neutrals. So it's okay to add them because they will not take away attention from the color scheme or the color palette, but only will add more interest to it. So you kind of have to group these objects together. You can add memories in terms of photographs, or there are some really interesting travel pictures that you have. You can always add them as frames, but remember to layer them with something else, like maybe candle stands in this case. Keep them close enough, maybe even closer, so that you can put them together and they still come across as a piece of art. So that's the way you need to group these objects. Another very cool way to do decor on your shelf is when you can find similar, for example, vases almost in the same color palette but different heights or shapes. So if you look at this particular setup over here, you see that almost all of them have a terracotta color. They're differently, tad bit different in terms of shades, tones, right? But they're really different in shapes, right? So almost the same color palette but different shapes. So what it does is that it kind of generates that level, different levels in your eye. You can actually look at it sort of as a piece of art because the color is the same but there are different textures. You can see textural elements added over here. The shapes are different, all of that. So you don't need to add floral or flowers or greenery to it. You can just keep it as is, and it's a monochromatic setup, if you will. So these are definitely interesting. One thing which I always follow as a piece of advice across designs, across rooms, whichever design we are doing, is always add something quirky, something interesting very different from what your entire decor is all about. So here if you look at the entire shelf, it's very very colorful, yet it has bits and pieces of neutral coming in terms of metals over here. In the piece over here, if I look at this one, this is a palm, the palmistry palm that we see, and this is very unique over here. It's an interesting element, it's a conversation piece, so definitely include that in your setup, in your designing, or your styling your shelves. Because while styling, you can add general elements like candles, like orbs, even jewelry in this case. Put it on something more interesting, more unique, more quirky, something which adds a bit of that shock element to the viewer's eye, and you've got a masterpiece there. So that's a great way to do it. Next thing which I also look at is, can I layer books and other objects on top of other objects, which means objects like trays, right? So here if you see an interesting live edge board over here, and on top of it we've layered it with books as well as another quirky piece. So to recap, when you are designing your shelf, number one, get your items classified and put on a table. It's very easy for you to then work through them. Number two, get an idea in terms of which are similar textures and which are not, so that when you're layering them, you have to think like if you were looking at them, you could feel that there is a difference of texture. That's one. Third is that you actually have layering in terms of heights. So adding a shorter piece with some height by adding books, great idea, do it. Add mirrors, add gold, add tall vases with really short vases, but in the similar color tone. Make it like a monochromatic abstract piece. So that's how you need to go through these steps. And lastly and most importantly, have fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, if you're not liking what you're doing and you're following a process, then maybe that's not what is going to make you happy looking at, right? So always think like, once you've done styling a portion of your shelf, do you like it? Does it make you happy? Does it evoke emotions of happiness, of fun, of memories? Then yes, that's it, you've got it right, because you're the one who's going to be living in that space, you're the one who's going to be looking at that space. So first of all, you should be happy, and everyone else will like it too. Add conversation pieces, go with the flow, create a color palette so that it ties it up all together, and don't feel afraid to add pops of color, pops of quirkiness. So yeah, that's how you basically style a shelf. If you have any questions regarding styling a shelf, please do comment below in the comment section and we'll be happy to answer it for you. Second, if you want more such videos, do comment and let us know what you would like us to style next, and we'll be happy to do that for you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay well, stay good, stay hydrated. Take care, y'all. Bye-bye.